Sometimes I feel disconnected from the world. From the people, my friends, my family, the people who pass me on the sidewalk or in their cars. Sometimes I feel like I'm on top of a steep mountain that no man has ever reached. Sometimes I feel like I'm on top of a steep mountain grasping out for the ones at the bottom, but they're miles and miles too far. I scream, but I'm voiceless. I walk around enclosed by a glass box. Sometimes I smile or laugh because it's how I think a person who feels would react in the situation. But I'm hollow, you see. I spent the first 2 years of my depressed state crying every day. I was lulled to sleep by my cries and woke up to the aftermath. My bloodshot, puffy eyes and fatigued voice. I spent the next 5 years telling myself that if I stopped crying then I would get stronger, so I did. If I felt the tears approaching, I closed my eyes and willed them away. I didn't cry for weeks or even months. Sometimes after too much time had passed, I would feel the tears coming. But when I closed my eyes, they still came. They came 10 times harder. I would cry for hours in my room, lying on my bed as I stared up at the ceiling. When I was done, I would wait until my eyes weren't glossed over and the redness subsided. I made sure everything was okay on the outside, walk out of my room and act like nothing happened, and wait a few more months until I couldn't hold it in any longer, until my body forced me to feel the things that I hated to feel. Since I had told myself for so long to stop crying, when I did want to cry, I was only rewarded with water-rimmed eyes, or if I was lucky, a few tears would reach my cheeks. So when the blow-up eventually came, in some weird way, I was grateful for it, because it reminded me that I was human. At the end of the 5th year, I lied on my bed thinking. I spent a 4th of my life detached from my surroundings, from the people I love and from the people I could have loved if it weren't for my barrier of sorrows keeping us apart. I told myself 5 years ago that not feeling is strength. Not feeling meant no sadness, no anxiety, no insecurity, doubts or fear, no pain. But then I laid there, my hands resting upon my stomach, asking myself if that were the case, why am I still sad? Why am I still anxious? Why am I still filled with insecurity, doubts, and fear? Why do I still feel pain? And then I remembered if I didn't allow myself to fully feel the bad, if I didn't deal with the dark side of my mind, then I also wasn't allowing myself to fully feel the good. It's why I couldn't smile until my cheeks hurt or laugh until tears emerged. It's why I never gained new relationships or hobbies. It's why I stayed in my room all day. It's why I came up with excuses to never see family and friends, only pushing them further away. It's why I never went out of my comfort zone or pursued anything I thought could give me an ounce of joy, because with that joy came my fear of the possibility of the sadness that could follow. It was also that night that I realized that I wasn't stronger than I was 5 years ago, but weaker. 5 years ago, if I needed to cry, I cried. If I felt happy, I didn't push it away. I grasped onto it and squeezed it until there was nothing left to squeeze. I appreciated it. I wasn't stronger than I was 5 years ago, I was weaker. I was weaker because I wasn't brave enough to enjoy the moment. I wasn't brave enough to be curious or explore. I wasn't brave enough to know that my thoughts were valid or that I wasn't crazy or for thinking and believing that I was truly the only one going through this. I knew better. I know better. My hands tapped a silent melody and I asked myself, what now? I didn't come up with the answer that night, but I did make a promise. As time went on, I asked questions. I explored. When genuine happiness struck me, I held onto it for as long as I could, and when sadness crept in, I remembered that a bad emotion didn't mean a bad day, a bad week, month, or year, and it didn't mean a bad life. As this video comes to an end, I leave you with one last thing. Your emotions are valid. You are not crazy. And you are not the only one going through this. Be curious, explore, be brave.